Hi, I'm Reverend Tom Kearns. Welcome to 333 Magic 9, where the tarot cards and the stars work together to bring you insights of a cosmic nature for your life. Please take a moment to subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications so you'll know when new videos are put up. FYI, I am using a 0-degree equal house chart, so the small numbers in the center of the circle may not match, but the interpretations are correct. I am doing this to conserve paper due to the many forests that are being destroyed by fire. Now, let us take a closer look at your cards and stars. October is always a transitional month, and the first week of October starts under the light of a full moon. So the moon is in opposition to the sun, and therefore the card Luna, or the moon. Now this card is often associated with difficulties or deception when dealing with other people. But because of the full moon energy and how that enhances the emotions and the intuition, we could also see this as the ability to enhance your psychic abilities. Now the question becomes, will you be able to keep yourself clear and avoid any misunderstanding that the opposition of the sun and the moon might bring? And you have to see people and their motives. So it's important that you do not let your imagination run wild. It's much better if you use your imagination as a productive tool, and this can be helped because the moon is conjunct Chiron, and Chiron is called the wounded healer. Now, even with that energy, it may be a little bit difficult under the circumstances of the full moon, because the full moon is an opposition, and this opposition is the sun in the 8th house, and this is of other people's shared energy, or the energy you share with them, and your personal resources and talents and abilities and your money. So count your money. So watch the budget. Don't spend money just to make yourself feel good. Emotional feelings are flowing, and they are conflicted with the realities of life. So once you know you can pay the bills, you'll feel better and have more opportunity to enjoy life. So money can come and go, so make sure you hold on to some of it. Now the next important change comes as the planet Venus goes into Virgo, and you can see that right here. Venus is changing houses and signs, and now she's going into your 7th house, which is very, very good. But Venus is not in its happiest sign when it's in Virgo, because Virgo tends to be a little bit critical, and Venus is the planet of love. So you have to be careful not to be too critical of other people. But when Venus is transiting your 7th house, this can help you make a very good impression at public events or any type of business type of things where you're rubbing elbows with important people, so meetings, events, things of that nature. Your social instincts are really improved with Venus in the 7th house, and you can make alliances on professional as well as personal levels. So romance can be a little exciting too. Woohoo! So this is a good time to get involved with businesses that deal with women's issues, because Venus represents women. The second week is the week of October 7th through the 16th. Now, the weekend is disrupted by a clash, what I call a clash between warriors, and there is also the coming disruption and perhaps confusion of Mercury going retrograde. And therefore, we use the Tower card energy, and this may best describe the conflicts of energy that will be going on. The Tower is a card of disruption and unforeseen changes. Now, no one likes a surprise, especially if it destroys the status quo or what you've become accustomed to. So make sure you are careful in your reaction time. You don't want to fly off the handle. That wouldn't be very good. And keep your ego under control. Others may be looking for a fight. And if you get into a fight with these aspects, it might be a fight to the finish. Now, don't be afraid of the tarot card, because change and disruption is sometimes very good. It can bring new opportunities. Now, Mercury is in the ninth house, and Mercury tends to be a little bit flighty, and Mercury is in opposition to Uranus in the third house. So the third house represents the intellect or the everyday mind, and the ninth house represents understanding or the higher mind. So there can be some disruption here and some erratic thinking. Now, this energy is going to happen twice this month because, again, Mercury is going to be going retrograde. So this aspect, the opposition between Mercury and Uranus, happens both on the 7th and the 19th. Uranus down in the third house here suggests that other people may not see truth the way you do. They might not think the way you do. So you have to keep an open mind, but do not be influenced by shaky logic or erratic people. So sort of keep one foot on the ground, especially when you're dealing with new people you do not know or ideas that are very unusual. The opposition to Mercury in the ninth house sets up challenging situations when dealing with beliefs just in a basic sense. So confusion can cause misunderstanding, and that would not be a very good thing. The next major aspect that's happening is you have Mars in the second house, and that is the house of your resources and money, and he will increase your drive for success and your ambitions to make money. Now, you'll love to run things. Mars likes to be the boss, and you want to do them your way, and you should make an attempt to invest your energy in something that is concrete, because this is an earthy house. Just make sure you pay attention to the bills and the details of finances. And that's extremely important because there is a square to Pluto. Now, this is an exact square, and Pluto is with Saturn and Jupiter up in your 11th house, and that deals with associates and groups of people. So there may be a challenge for you to offer your energy to revitalize social organizations that have become bloated and bureaucratic. Their real purpose should be to help improve social conditions. And if they're not doing it, then that's not a good thing to be involved with. So madness would be repeating failure. Creative vision with all this energy may be the gift. Now, the Hanged Man card suggests that we take a different perspective on our life. Now, as we look at this card, the Hangman is upside down, and you might say, wow, that looks really uncomfortable. But if you look closely at this card, the Hangman is sort of in repose. He's not struggling whatsoever. And the idea of changing your perspective or looking at things in a different way can be a very valuable lesson, especially since Mercury is going retrograde in your ninth house of the higher mind on the 13th of the month. Now, this suggests that the small details may be a bit out of sync, which can mess up your understanding of the bigger picture. This is a bigger picture. This is the smaller details down here. So understand that not everybody thinks the same way that you do, and not everybody wants to understand the same way that you do. Now, this will become a little bit more intense as the Sun moves up and conjuncts Mercury on the 25th. This can add some extra confusion to your emotions, so control your urge to manipulate others. The third week is October 17th through 24th, and the week's card, the card for the week, is the Lovers. And I always say, I love this card, and that's a terrible joke. Now, this card often represents that a choice must be made between following a path of gentleness and fun and ease and things of that nature, or the possibility of flirting with temptation. Ooh, that sometimes sounds good. Now, there may be some important choices that have to be made, which must be guided by your higher inspiration and your aspirations. You must remember that love is a serious adventure that demands cooperation and commitment between the two people. That's very important. Now, this is extremely important this week because there's also a Venus opposition to Neptune. Venus ruling the lower love nature, or the earthly love nature, and Neptune the higher spiritual nature. Now, this opposition can shatter your rose-colored glasses. You might be thinking that you have found the perfect person, only to find out that, well, maybe the dream wasn't exactly what you thought it was going to be. Now, there is some help right there on the horizon, and that is because Venus has a double trine to both Pluto and Saturn, and that's a very good aspect. Now, Pluto has been in your 10th house here, and that is, the 11th house here, and that is a very important house for social interaction. But you must understand what the social groups you are involved with are bringing to your life and what you are bringing to the group situation. So it's very important, and Venus represents values. So beautiful Venus here in your 7th house, and that's a house where Venus loves to be, demands that you get out in front of the public. So you go out and you are with groups of people, and you're rubbing elbows with important people, and that can help you make new alliances on both a professional level and a personal level. And this could represent there's some romance that's just waiting to happen. And if there is, then the trine to Saturn will help this, because Saturn is a stabilizing factor, and he stabilizes what is most valuable when you're dealing with Venus. So, what is it that interests you most when it comes to relationships and dealing with others? So cooperation with others to build a more stable future is very important. So you might also be willing to volunteer for a good social cause, because that can bring you into contact with some new people, and perhaps some people with some power and influence that can help you in your career. As we move into the 4th week, October 25th through 31st, we see the card of the week is the 4 of Swords. Now, as you look at the 4 of Swords, you might say, oh, looks like the swords are going to hurt somebody. But no, not at all. Actually, they look like they are in repose on this card, and that's very important because the energy captured in this card is one of rest and recuperation. And with all the things that have been going on this month during this transition phase, boy, you may need to gather your forces together. You may need to have some quiet. You may need to have some time in solitude, because another jolt is coming in the future. It's the combination of the full moon, so the moon's coming all the way down here and will be in opposition to the sun, but the moon will also be joining Uranus. Now, that's very important. When the full moon is on top of Uranus in your third house, that is the house of mind. So you're going to have to maintain a balance between your ideas and the beliefs of others. An open mind will keep communication flowing. Inflexibility will guarantee conflict. So think twice before making judgments if they're based on just pure emotion. If they're based on a clear intellect, that's a different issue. The same might be said about travel plans or planning on things in education. You have to know where you're going and why. So what is the outcome? What is the plan? Impulse can be exciting, but a sound plan will bring you success. Thank you for watching. Please like and share these videos with your friends, for they are free. That's a great price. And I hope you have a great month.